What if I told you that one of the most shocking serial murder cases in the Middle East wasn't led by a man, but by two sisters? In 1920, women in the Egyptian city of Alexandria began disappearing. No ransom notes, no witnesses, no bodies, just silence. Until one day, a man digging in his rented room struck something beneath the floor. It wasn't a pipe, it was a human arm. This is the story of Ria and Sakinah, and how an entire city failed to see what was happening behind closed doors. To understand this case, you have to understand Alexandria in 1920. This wasn't a quiet coastal town. It was a chaotic port city, recovering from World War I. Poverty was rising. Jobs were disappearing. Entire families were displaced. In neighborhoods like Al Laban, crowded rental homes were packed with workers, migrants, and women surviving on the margins. Seamstresses, street vendors, and in some cases, sex workers. Jewelry wasn't fashion, it was savings. A woman's gold was her bank account, and that made it a target. In late 1920, newspapers began reporting something disturbing. Women were vanishing. At first, families assumed they had traveled, or eloped, or run away. In conservative communities, reporting a missing woman could bring shame. So many families stayed quiet. That silence gave killers time. The first major break didn't come from police genius. It came from plumbing. A worker digging to fix drainage in a rented house noticed something strange. The tiles lifted too easily. The soil underneath was loose. Then he smelled it. He struck bone. Police arrived and uncovered a buried body. Then another and another. As investigators searched more properties connected to two sisters, Ria Ali Hemam and Sakinah Ali Hemam, they found bodies hidden beneath floors across multiple homes. Some partially decomposed, some reduced to bone. The official count ranged between 16 and 17 identified victims, possibly more. The pattern became clear. The sisters, along with their husbands and several male accomplices, would befriend women, often those wearing visible gold jewelry. They would invite them in, offer drinks, sometimes heavily laced with alcohol. Once the victim was intoxicated and unable to resist, multiple attackers restrained her. One held her legs, one the arms. Another pressed a cloth over her mouth and nose, suffocating her. Medical reports later confirmed most victims were not strangled. They were smothered. After death, the jewelry was stripped, clothes removed, and the body buried under the same floor where the murder occurred. The gold was sold to local jewelers and melted down. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was systematic, organized, economic. Unlike American serial killers like Ted Bundy, who often killed for psychological gratification, this gang operated like a business. The murders weren't the goal. The gold was. So why kill at all? Because theft leaves witnesses. Murder erases them. And once the first killing happens, something changes psychologically. Violence becomes normalized inside the group. Responsibility dissolves. Each person performs a role. In group dynamics, shared guilt becomes diluted guilt. What makes this case extraordinary is that two women were central figures. In 1920, the idea of women orchestrating serial murder shattered public expectations. That shock factor is partly why their names, Ria and Sakinah, overshadowed the male accomplices in history. By May 1921, the case exploded into a national sensation. Crowds gathered outside the courthouse. Security barriers were installed. Families of victims demanded justice. Unlike the US, Egypt did not use jury trials. Professional judges decided the case. confessions, some later claimed to be coerced, and witness testimony formed the backbone of prosecution. The court sentenced Ria, Sakinah, and 4 male accomplices to death by hanging. Others received prison sentences. Public reaction was intense. On execution day, crowds gathered outside the prison. Some reportedly celebrated. It was the first time in modern Egyptian history that women were executed for serial murder. The Alexandria murders weren't just about evil individuals. They reveal what happens when poverty, stigma, gender inequality, and weak social protections collide. When missing women are dismissed, when gold is survival, when silence protects predators. In the end, the case wasn't remembered for the 17 victims. It was remembered for 2 names: Ria, Sakinah. But behind those names were women who walked into a house and never walked out. And it all stayed hidden until someone decided to fix a pipe. If you enjoyed dark, true crime stories, subscribe to Midnight Files, because the darkest stories are always here.